How does corruption take form when it's so obvious? It's slow movements. It's like barely inching towards, total corruption and obedience.
It is a great horror that most people don't want to speak about.
This has nothing to do with sports. They did this on purpose because they are Satanists. Yeah. Because they hate God, they hate Jesus, they want to corrupt your children. LGBT, they cannot have their own children, the gay people. They need your kids. When your kid goes to school and learns these things, you're going to be very angry that not enough people stood up and said that this is unacceptable.
Another blaring example, drag queen story time. It's happening in Canada and America, where some public schools and libraries invite drag queens, some dressed like torn demons, to read to young children.
Unexpected but powerful group who says they're fighting to protect the separation of church and state. The Satanic Temple. We told you about them before on this show. Remember, they're battling a lot of conservative movements by fighting for what they say is their members' religious rights. One issue we've seen them gain some traction on is abortion. They've sued states over access to it, even launching what they call the first ever religious abortion clinic network. Now, the Satanic Temple's taking on religion in schools.
That I celebrate your right to have 20 abortions. I'll throw you a party. Or 0. It's a celebration.
And like I told Barack, if I reach something where there's a fundamental disagreement we have based on a moral principle, I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign. We don't have that. We haven't, and we discussed it.
I would argue everybody listening to this has talked to an AI, series of AI, right? Yeah. We're all really kind of already programmed to accept this.
We're here, we're queer, and we're not going away. We are not some group of people who live in San Francisco or Seattle. We are here. We are your elected officials. We are your brothers. We are your sisters.
Culture from a heteronormative society into one where anything goes, no boundaries, no values, no morals. It's a hedonistic cult-based.
President Nixon never gave the country a proper farewell. But when asked what his final message to the nation would have been, he said this.
I would warn against the media elitist complex. The media is always talking about the imperial presidency, the power of the imperial presidency. I think we ought to hear a little bit of discussion of the imperial media and its power. You see, presidential power is limited by the courts, limited by the Congress. The media's power is unlimited. They can tell an untruth, print an untruth, which some of them consciously do, if it's going to sell newspapers or what have you, or win a prize.
How does corruption take form when it's so obvious? It's slow movements. It's like barely inching towards, total corruption and obedience, where you don't really see it coming. Next thing you know, like, oh, I have no other option but to get a chip in my hand, or have a social credit score that allows me to, fly in a plane. If I don't have a good one, then I got to ride on a bus or a train or a cab, or, I can drive. They want all electric cars. Like,
we're all programmed.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as escaping the slave mind. You must just, to some degree, understand who is programming you and understand if you really want those characteristics. Most people are repeating opinions, and I'm saying, where did you get that opinion from? They can't remember where they got it from. They don't know who even told them. They don't know why they so fervently believe in it. They're just told, they're programmed. You need to genuinely analyze your brain, defrag every single opinion you strongly have, and identify where it came from and if that person has your best interests at heart.
Someone put a massive bet against Trump the day before the attempt. What I mean by that is on July 12th, a filing showed up that Austin Private Wealth LLC shorted 12 million shares of Donald Trump's stock before the attempt. This is by far the biggest bet that company has placed. That's proof of their filing at the top. Nothing detrimental, thank God, happened to Trump. And then time moves along and then their filing is gone? That's suspicious. They recently came out saying this was all a big error and they never meant to short that much or bet that much against that company. And it gets more weird. Two of this company's top holdings is Vanguard and BlackRock. The kid who was about to do the attempt was in a BlackRock commercial.
And President Obama said that he would cherish it, and I'm certainly going to frame this and cherish it.
Kim, what does the Bible mean when it says in Revelation 2 and Revelation 3 that in the last days the most wicked and evil force on earth, one that will persecute bring death and bloodshed to the whole world is the synagogue of Satan.
Great owl, Bohemia, we thank thee for thy adoration.
Today, these elite names are still doing ritual sacrifices of children to a deity called Moloch or Molech, the same as they were thousands of years ago.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America?